keeping positive when you're a West Ham fan is not easy at the best of times. I mean, I'll be the first to say that it's tough, and the club do have a way of testing the patience of fans. Now, I've really, honestly tried to be very, very positive throughout this, and I still am. Honestly, I still am. I do still think that, and I firmly believe this, that by the end of this summer transfer window, I think West Ham have done some decent business. I do believe that will be the case. But I'll admit that has slightly wavered a little bit. It's become a little. I'm becoming slightly concerned now with the fact that we are now approaching. This weekend will be 2 weeks until the Premier League kicks off, and we just seem to be still no closer. Mainly, what I'm referring to here is the midfield situation in terms of Declan Rice's replacement. I cannot believe we're still in the same position. This has been a transfer to Arsenal that's been 2 years in the making. West Ham have known this for a long time, that this summer was going to be the one where Rice was going to depart and was going to, leave the club, and we were going to have to replace him. And we don't seem any closer. We are now, as I recall, this is Monday, so this is 9 days since Declan was officially announced as an Arsenal player. And if you remember rightly, when the transfer window opened, the official noises from the club were, coming through to sort of fan channels and things like that, basically, and obviously XWHU employees reporting this, and other people were as well, other journalists, were that West Ham were waiting on Tim Steidten. They were waiting on the appointment of the new technical director. We're not going to be able to do anything until that happens. That he then arrived. Brilliant, great. Go on then, Tim, crack on. We can't yet. Can't crack on yet. We've got to sell Rice first. Can't do anything until we sell Rice. That's a nightmare, So we waited and waited and waited, and that obviously dragged and dragged. That then was then concluded. And now the next line we're getting out from the football club is that the prices are all inflated because of the Declan Rice sale. That's annoyed me now, because I'm getting to the point of West Ham where it always feels, and I did mention this to a few people, and people sort of shut you down and go, well, it's very common this at other clubs, but it does feel like West Ham are always chasing. We're reactive. We're a reactive club. We're not proactive. We never think ahead and think, right, this is what we're going to do. As I've said, we knew Rice was leaving 2 years ago, but we're behaving as if like he handed a transfer request in when we were never expecting it, and now suddenly we're running around like lunatics trying to sort it out. That's how it looks. I mean, look, I'm not suggesting that's exactly what's going on. Okay, I'm not suggesting that. But what I'm saying, that's how that's the outset, isn't it? That's how it looks. And that's why fans are becoming rightly frustrated now. And I am one of them. I'm getting to a point now, I'm thinking, I'm getting a bit tired of the excuses. I'm tired of hearing the fact that we now are using this Rice sale as another excuse now that's why we're not buying players. Before we go into this, though, before I carry on with this cheery video, Dean R. Marsh is the first winner of West Ham top that we're going to give away, home away or third kit. Dean, dropped you a message already on the comments in the video. So if you're watching this, do go and check it out, because we've left the email address there. Just drop us an email with what you want, your address and everything else. We'll get it sent out to you. And of course, we're going to be running another competition next month, which is obviously not long away now. And then we'll carry on and do it all again. So congratulations, Dean. That's brilliant for you. So sorry. I mean, as I say, I really don't want this to be a negative. I don't want to jump on the panic bandwagon and all that kind of stuff. But it is becoming a concern, I do think. Now, XWHU employee has provided an update. Some of it's quite positive, actually. It's not all doom and gloom, but one aspect I want to talk about is this committee that we're now discovering is who's in charge of our transfer dealings, the process of West Ham now doing our business. And really, let's be honest, the reason this is getting a lot of attention, and rightly so, because we're all going, well, this is the committee, apparently, that are dealing with transfers, and yet here we are, and we're now the 24th of July without a major sign, without any first team signings in. It's not good enough. I don't care the way you can dress it up. West Ham can try and dress it up as much as they want. This isn't good enough. We are repeating the same mistakes that we've done previously. In fact, this is worse than last season. We had more business done at this stage. But if you remember last season, players were coming in quite late. And David Moyes used that as an excuse. Well, we've got to settle the players in. They need time to settle and adjust. So why are we doing it again? What's going on? It feels like we are shooting ourselves in the foot continually at West Ham. We've got a real knack of doing it. And as I say, my frustration with it is that I feel like we're now going, it's a bit like Groundhog Day. We're going to the same day and we're ending another day and there's no progression. XWH employees obviously been away to Australia with on the pre-season and things like that. He's come back, you're waiting for, don't get me wrong, his update is good. It is, I think, overall quite positive. But at the same time, when you're talking about a Declan Rice replacement who's coming in, it's all still pretty much the same as where it's been. It's the same talk. We're going to talk about that in a bit more detail in another video. Edson Alvarez being the more likely at this stage, but Edson Alvarez was a favourite, what, a month ago? A month ago now? Edson Alvarez, favourite. West Ham can make a bid. Okay, go and do it then. Yeah, we're going to go and make a bid. It's like, what is this waiting around? What are we waiting for? I do find it so strange. And once we got the Rice money in and we had the Steidton in charge in terms of the process, I was expecting bids to be pinging out. I was expecting players to start landing quite quickly. It's just not been the case, is it? As I've said, Rice has now been well over a week now since he left the football club, and we are no closer, it appears. You know, they dropped an offer into Polina. I know I'm sort of rambling off here, but he dropped an offer to Polina that's been rejected, put another one in rejected. Now we're not going for him. You do question what's going on. I do question it and do think, well, hang on. Fulham quoted you 80 million. We're not going to budge off that. So we're putting 40. Oh, no, didn't want that. We're putting 50. Don't want that. No, we're wasting. So we've wasted time. It just feels like we're just wasting time. Don't bother then. If Fulham aren't going to accept anything like that figure, then don't waste your time. I've got no problem with Fulham, as I said in the previously. No, they are well within their right to put a price tag on their player and say, that's what we value him at. If you don't want to pay it, you're not having him. We did it with Declan. We've got no right to be annoyed about that stance. I'm certainly not. But my point is, we've now again spent and invested time on that. And you're thinking, well, we could have just been doing business elsewhere. We could have got Alvarez in by now. But again, we're waiting. And what are we doing now? We're now waiting up. We're weighing up our move for Alvarez. It's like, how much more weighing up and considering does this club need to do before they get action? Other teams aren't doing that. They're getting their business done. Our dilly-dallying is always catching us out. It caught us out with Harvey Barnes. Now, I'm not saying that Harvey Barnes would have picked West Ham over Newcastle. Newcastle have got a greater pool than us. They've got more money. They've got Champions League. And let's be honest, they're a club that are going to be pushing, again, you'd imagine, for top 4 this season, even possibly higher. Who knows? But they're a club going places because of their investment and their ownership. So fair play. Good luck to them. My point is, though, we didn't do anything. All we kept saying, he was a top target. If we bid for him, no, we haven't done that yet. We're waiting on Steidton. We're waiting on the right. We've just sat around, just waiting and dithering. And now that everything's in place, you've got the Rice money, you've got the technical director. There's nothing to hold you back. And what are we doing? We're pondering. We're waiting. We're considering. We're looking at options. And it's just very frustrating as a fan. And I'm sure other fans will join me in it and feel. And as I say, I know I am going off on a tangent. I know I feel like I'm going against what I've been saying, trying to remain positive. As I say, what I'm saying is I do believe, and maybe I'm being a bit blind here and thinking, with blind optimism, but I still do believe we are going to end the transfer window in a positive manner. I do think we'll have some decent players playing at West Ham. I'm sure of that. But my frustration now is turning to the fact that I don't want to keep starting a season on the back foot. Now we're going to go to Bournemouth, are we, with like a half squad, and we have to make shift. Connor Coventry's going to have to play in there now because we're struggling to fill voids and we don't know what we're doing. Why are we putting ourselves in this position? This is self-inflicted from West Ham, and it's just not good enough at all. Now, the only positive news we do have for the X update, and we will obviously do these in more videos, more details, that Carlos Borges is close. That does seem to be a deal that's very close. And I like that signing. That is something that I'm excited about. But again, fans I'm sure will be shouting, but this was close last Friday, Thursday, Friday. Really close. Personal terms have been agreed. We're now Monday. It's close. It might be done this week. You're thinking, why is it with West Ham? Everything seems to take so long. I don't know. Very frustrating. But the video this is all based on is this committee situation. So XWH employees try to provide some insight of what is actually going on behind the scenes, because there are a lot of talk about this voting, that David Moyes gets the ultimate say, and his infighting between him and Steidton. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, but when it comes to West Ham, nothing's a surprise. But X has actually provided a bit more clarity of exactly what's happening. So apparently, there's a few interesting points out of this. There's a committee of people that are sit around the table regarding transfer dealings and how we're going to move forward. Now, the people are David Moyes, David Sullivan, and Tim Steidton. There is a bit of confusion whether Mark Noble's that involved. Now, it had been touted that Mark Noble's got a say. Maybe he has. I'm not sure the X's update didn't seem to give much confidence that Noble's actually got a big say in it. Maybe he's got some, but it appears that really it's about the three. So you look at Moyes, Sullivan, and Steidton. Now, what X has described it is that it goes to a vote between the three. Let's call it the three for now, okay? I might be slightly wrong. Noble might get a vote on it, but let's just say he doesn't for now. Yeah, so they basically get a vote, yes or no. So if there's more yeses than nos, then they push ahead to push on. If there's, you get it. If there's two nos, then and one yes, they'll go no. We'll move on. Then we won't bother. The question was put to it was on a podcast actually with Dharmesh, an ex-WH employee, and one of the questions was, is it a case of too many cooks? You do get the feeling it is. Maybe this is the reason. I mean, I'd love to know what is going on and what Steidton must be thinking, because it does feel like we are operating in an odd manner. What's really strange is that West Ham actually believe that this is what X has reported, and what David Sullivan wants is to improve, really driven on improving West Ham's recruitment structure. Well, let's be honest. I'm not saying don't do that, because I want that to happen. But let's be honest, the signs aren't great. If this is going to be the new committee that are dealing with transfer window, this is their first window, they don't seem to be able to get a decision made, because we never seem to be putting there never seems to be like a strategy that's working. It seems once again, we've got a very scattergun approach. We don't really know who we're going for. We're going for someone young. We're going for someone old. We're going for someone fast. We don't even know positions we're going for. It's very concerning. And also, you look at the coaches, we don't know what's going on with that, do we? We don't know what's going on with David Moyes' future. Is he staying longer term? No one knows. It's just all this confusion around West Ham. So many question marks. It's just not helping. One thing X did clear up, which I'm really pleased about, is that there was talk that David Moyes gets the ultimate say. He gets the veto on any decision. Well, apparently that's not, as I've said, that's not the case. So if Moyes says no, but Sullivan and Steidton say yes, then they will press ahead. They will go, no, we're going to go and make a bid regardless of your view. I mean, I'd love to know exactly how that conversation works, but that's what it is understood to be. So the majority wins. It is a very strange one. One bit of news that did come out of it, though, which I thought was very interesting, was Rob Newman. We talked about this in a previous video about Rob Newman about 2 months ago, that he was going to be the fall guy. And that does appear to be the case. It looks like Rob Newman's future is very much in doubt at West Ham. So I would not be surprised if we're going to be doing a video soon saying that he's departed. But that's where we are. So look, final thoughts on this are, right, I don't think the evidence is very good at the moment surrounding West Ham's committee and our structure and our strategy. I think it looks confusing. I think it's too many voices. I think we're being pulled from pillar to post. As fans, I mean, we're not in the room, so I'm not saying that we can know. I mean, I don't want us to say it's very easy to get doom and gloom. It could well be a very, very structured, well-organised plan, but the outset doesn't look great, does it? And it sort of adds up. You're sort of thinking, well, that's why we're not making bids. That's why we're still questioning. That's why we still got bids. We're looking at 5 certain midfielders for the same position. Why? Why at this stage, so close to the season, have we not determined who we want? It's very confusing. And let's be honest now, there's no getting away from the evidence, okay? West Ham United, as it stands, are in the worst position in terms of bringing players in. I think it's us and Fulham haven't signed anyone, but Fulham seem very advanced now to be getting some deals done. And we're not. I mean, apart from, as I say, Borges is one that's there, but it's a left winger. It was probably the least required position, really. The position we need to get sorted is the defensive midfield. We've all talked about Souček needing to replace him. Declan Rice has now left. What's going on? Like, what is going on? Like, this is a crucial part of our business this summer. This should be priority number 1, getting Rice's replacement sorted out. And yet here we are. We are still scratching our heads wondering who we're getting, who we want. And it does, the noises seem to still be, we don't really know. As I said, Edson Alvarez appears to be the favourite, but I don't like to shout that too loud, because I was saying that, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that he was going to be the favourite. West Ham were looking at him. We're really keen on getting Alvarez, and we're going to go for him. And then, you're 4 weeks down the line, whatever it is, and here we are. Edson Alvarez still the favourite. West Ham are weighing up a bid. I mean, how much weighing up? What's the weighing up all about? Crazy, absolutely crazy. And I say my thoughts are as well. I'm very. This is just me personally, and I'm sure fans will join me. And if I'm not wrong, if I'm wrong, feel free to criticise or whatever you want to say. Just put your views in. But I am tiring of the excuses. I accepted the Tim Steidton. reluctantly sort of accepted the Rice one, but I was still thinking, but why is that stopping us from progressing with talks and getting players over the line? I don't know why we've got to sit back and wait. But I don't like the excuse now of the inflation. Oh, clubs are now, no, we've got this money, so we can't spend. Come on. Like West Ham United have been around, David Sullivan's been around the block enough. David Moyes had. They knew that was coming. Can't just pretend you're shocked. It's really frustrating, and I don't like that excuse as well. I really don't like that. Oh, they're getting too expensive. So, well, what's the answer then? Don't buy anyone. It's not good enough. I'm sorry. I don't like hearing that excuse. It's quite tiring. And as I say, I do feel like we are a club that's continually chasing our tail, always playing catch up. We're never proactive, never ahead of the curve. We're always chasing. And it's frustrating, really, really frustrating. However, look, as much as this is sort of getting off my chest, I suppose, I think we've still got to try and keep an overall positive view of it. There is still lots to be excited about West Ham. Let's just stand back and think about this for a minute. Yes, we've got this sort of stuff going on with the transfers that are frustrating, but West Ham have got Europa League next season, Premier League football again. We've got a new technical director. I think we've got Paqueta, who's going to be amazing next season. We've still got some real quality in our side, and it just needs a few additions to sort it out, and I think we'll get there. So there's still a lot to be positive about, but there's no denying that it is a frustrating time. I will say, though, now, this is, as I say, this is Monday. I want to make sure, by hook or by crook, by the end of this week, when I record again next Monday, I'll obviously do videos between then, but when I come to this time next week, this club better be in far better shape in terms of recruitment. I want to see Borges done, and I want to see at least another, really. I want to see 2 players over the line, or at least, identified Rice's replacement, and the deals, we're nearly in advanced talks. We can't keep this going on because we've got Premier League football fast approaching. We can't go to Bournemouth with a depleted squad and chasing our tail once again, because we cannot afford a bad start next season. We just cannot afford it. We cannot afford to have a season again where we're struggling. It just cannot happen. And this is down to them now. This committee better start delivering.